Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of How to Hack. So this is a Windows 10 operating system that we are running, and all you can see is we have Nmap installed, and we can double click on that to launch it. So we can actually go ahead and use Nmap to scan the entire network for existing devices. So we can do a /24 on a subnet mask. Go ahead and click scan on that, and this will start off the scan, and we can try to find out all the IT devices, assets in the environment, whether they are routers, wireless access points, network printers, even some of the laptops, desktops, and mobile devices. We'll be able to pick them up using Nmap. And of course, the next great tool that we'll look at is on Kali Linux. So we have installed Kali Linux on our Windows operating system. So if you want to know how you can install Kali Linux on your Windows OS, just go back to one of the videos in which we were sharing on how you could do the installation from Microsoft Store. So going back into the tutorial, we can actually see that we have the Kali Linux running. And all you can do is enter ifconfig, and you can see the IP address of your current operating system. So we are on Wi-Fi 0, and we are on IP address of 192.168.1.1. So we can go ahead and enter MSF console. So this would actually start up the Metasploit framework in your Windows operating system. And once you have it started up, we can search for exploit. And the whole idea is that as long as you have Kali Linux, as well as Nmap or ZenMap, which is the graphical user interface of Nmap, as long as you have these two wonderful tools, you can complete your security penetration testing or your security auditing very quickly. It's gonna speed up the whole process, at least for 75 to 80% of most of the penetration testing work that you have to do. So in this case, we can see that we have detected 3 hosts inside the network. So of course, one is on .15, and others is on .8, and other is on .254. So we have 3 specific IT devices that are connected to the network. And at the bottom, of course, right now is the connect scan timing. And of course, we can see that the completion is now on 18.67%. And we're discovering a lot of open ports in the environment. And again, all this could spell trouble for some of these IT devices if they have not been properly patched, if an exploit is available, or even a denial of service is there for us to actually take down the entire server or IT asset. So really important for you to secure your enterprise network from all your immediate scans. So now we're on 43.40%. So going back into Kali Linux, we see that we got 1,965 exploits. We got 1,094 auxiliary. And we got 337 post modules. So we can actually do a search. And on a search, you can actually look at, say, for example, you want to find out about how you can hack an Android. All you got to do is enter search Android, and it will show you all the modules available, whether they're payloads, post exploitation, auxiliary. You can see it all here. So, of course, we have been exploring a lot of Android vulnerabilities, exploit management of Android devices, and so on in the past 10 videos or so. So right now, we're going to look at how we could weaponize Windows and be able to hack into any operating system with Windows operating system. So over here, we are 68.20% done in terms of the completion of the discovery of ports. So this is a really good way, and once we complete the scan of this, we will be moving over into the comprehensive scan, because we really need to find out the exact version of those services. And if you can find out the exact versions of each of those services running in an operating system, it will be a lot easier for you to find those exploits on the left side. So the left side meaning Kali Linux or Metasploit framework. So this is really important, because the whole idea is about maxing and matching what is right in terms of exploitation. So over here, once we complete the scan, we will actually run some of the exploitation, do a search or lookup on the Metasploit framework, and try to find out what's going on in the operating system. Run it, set the parameters, and be able to go after the system. So of course, in this case, I have a virtual machine running. So over here, I have a virtual machine. And of course, I can enter ifconfig, and we can see the IP address is 192.168.1.15. So of course, this is the target machine that we're going after. It has a lot of services running, and there's a lot of services that have vulnerabilities. So of course, in this tutorial, you have to take it as though we are hacked the box. This is a black box. And the whole idea I'm showing you this is so that we can speed up and accelerate the whole pace of understanding what's going on. So moving back into Nmap scan result. So we are waiting for the scan to complete. And once the scan complete, we can actually move over into the exploitation stage. And a lot of times, the exploitation stage requires you to do a lot of search up, look up, finding out more information and details about each of the service number, and be able to find out an exploit for it. And the exploit could be in CVE, which is Common Vulnerability Exposure Database, which is a great place for you to look up all these potential exploits that you can run. Or you can actually do a direct search on your Kali Linux box or on your Metasploit framework. And if you run Kali Linux, you can do a search exploit lookup. And of course, if you're running on a weaponized Windows operating system on Metasploit framework directly, you'll be able to search it up. So over here, we are waiting for the initial scan to be completed. So it should more or less complete in a couple more minutes. And once we complete the scan, we'll be able to look out on the host, the services they're running, and all the ports topology, host details, and scan results that's coming right now. So it's still running. We want a scan to complete. So it's just another couple more minutes, and we'll complete the scan. So over here, we have completed the scan, so it took quite some time, 463.29 seconds. So we can see that we got 256 IP addresses being completed a scan. And scrolling all the way up, we can see that we got a very detailed scan on the IP address of 192.168.1.15. And of course, over here on the .8, we actually have a network printer that's running. And of course, here we have the 192.168.1.15. So this is the target server that we're going after. And of course, say for example, we see one service with a particular version number of 2.3.4, and it allows a anonymous FTP login. So if you do a Kali Linux on your Metasploit search, you can search for VSFTPD, do a search on that, and we can find the exploit immediately. And likewise, we can see other information like your Linux telnet, postfix, and ISC bind, Apache HTTP 2.2.8. We also have a RPC bind, and so on. So you can see all the details here coming from the server, as well as the exact version number. And the version number is really important because a lot of exploits are tightly correlated with the kind of service number or version number of that particular service. So for example, over here we have an Unreal IRCD. So again, likewise, you can search Unreal and you can actually find out over here that we got IRC3281 backdoor. And of course, likewise, we saw earlier on the other information as well. And of course, with this in mind, on Nmap, you can actually look at the services, select on the host, click on the services, and we can actually click on each of the service, find out more information and details about each of those services. The domain, the EXEC, FTP, we got 3 of it. Of course, we got 1 on .8, 1 on .15, and so on. And of course, we got topology as well, and we can see more details about the topology. Where are the servers located? Do you have a local host? Which is your IP address? And so on. And of course, this is really a good way for you to actually map out what's going on in the environment and what are some of the controls they have, as well as the host details that you can look into more detail of what's going on. You can add your own comments. Maybe this was a server that's running particularly critical information, or you can look at the scan results coming in and so on. So we also have HTTP information over here. So what are the servers that's actually running on HTTP? We can find out all those details, or Java RMI. And of course, all this information are really helpful in terms of you trying to find out what kind of exploits we can use. So in this case, moving up, we can actually look up again on VSFTPD. So all you gotta do is actually enter use, exploit, Unix, FTP, VSFTPD, 234 underscore backdoor, hit enter on that. Enter show options. So here we got our host, we got our pod. So all you gotta do is set our host 192.168.1.15. And once you're done with that, you can set payload as well. And of course, we can set payload as say Windows or Unix and so on. So of course, here we got interact. And once we have all this information, all you gotta do is enter exploit, hit exploit, and we'll be able to gain access directly into the server. So here, backdoor service has been spawned, handling UID, command shell session 1 open. And once we have all these details, you can actually go ahead and enter who am I, and it will say you are root. And you can enter pwd to see the current working directory, ls-l to see all the files and subdirectories within the current exploited folder that you're in. So this will really help you find out what are some of the details, information you want to look at. And of course, you can look at Control Z, and that will actually help you immediately background the session. And once the session has been background, you can actually look up on post exploitation modules. So you can search on post. And of course, on post modules, you can actually use post followed by Linux, and we can look up what are some of the gather information, check VM. So let's say I want to use gather, check VM. So again, this could be useful to check and find out if whether you're connected to a honeypot. And you can go ahead and enter that and enter show options again and set the session as 1. So of course, here you can enter sessions and it will show you all the existing sessions. Go ahead and hit run on that, and this will be able to tell you what kind of virtual machine they're running on, what kind of virtualization technology they are running on.